Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 159 on November 20th, 2019. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey there.
And all the way from sunny San Diego, Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody. I laugh because it's not sunny at all.
No, it's dark.
Horrible storms and
it's winter.
Yeah. They said that it hasn't rained in like 90 or 100 days. And then yesterday it started pouring in spurts.
You brought it with you, didn't you?
Well, no, that's how it works. That's how it works. Is it's desert, so when it's spring, summer, you don't get any rain. And then you get like a whole year's worth of rain in a couple showers. It's like that song says, it never rains in Southern California, but when it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
it's still nice. I mean, it's been fairly pleasant here. Other than if you happen to have to walk across the street while it's pouring. If you're smart, you just wait 15 minutes and then it stops pouring and you walk across the street and it's not even raining. Mm-hmm. Just got to jump over the rivers though.
Yes. That's the thing. You get so much rain that it just like all the streets turn into rivers for a little bit. And then, but
it's nice though.
It is. It always smells good. But yeah, so, I don't want to talk about weather because I have nothing nice to say about here. So, why don't we talk about the stuff we're actually here to talk about?
Sure. We could start off this week with something that comes into one of those really, it wasn't already a thing. Categories of Apple TV Plus is that new service from Apple TV, and it's now available on even more Fire TV devices. Basically, when they brought it out, they did bring it out for the most recent Fire TV devices, and they are now offering support for the second generation Fire TV Cube and third generation Fire TV. They also apparently will be having plans to introduce the app for other editions of Fire boxes as well. So yay!
I'm number one. I'm surprised that they did this so quickly because it was last week that we talked about this. Mm-hmm. And number two, I thought we weren't going to talk about this in present company because he was finally okay with the fact that he needed to move to a better service.
No. See, we talked about Disney Plus on the Fire TV last week.
Oh, you're right.
I know.
Never mind.
I get those two confused.
They're both Plus.
Yeah.
And for the record, Disney Plus still isn't coming to the Fire stuff.
So that's the wonderful thing is it is.
You've already been interventioned.
It was there.
Can't backslide.
Clyde is attempting to get Michael to jump ship.
Although, not completely, because we still need him to try out the Echo as a home theater.
That's speakers. Right. You heard about that last week, Michael?
No.
So last week we had a story about the fact that Amazon now allows you to hook up your Echoes, whether they like Echo Dots or normal Echo devices, and set them up as basically surround sound speakers with your Fire TV sticks and things like that. And we figured you might actually have the ability to test it out and tell us if it's any good or if it sucks.
It's the Echo Cube.
Okay.
Well, I have the Echo Fire TV Cube.
Mm-hmm.
The first generation. I don't have the second generation. I will order the second generation now that Disney Plus is working on the Fire TV Cube. I was like, literally the day Disney Plus came out, I went and tried to get it on my Fire TV Cube, not expecting it to be available, but it was there. I was happy.
Well, if you had showed up for the show last week, you would have known that.
Except Disney Plus came out on Tuesday, so the day before the show. So I knew I wanted to talk about it on the show, but I was sick last week.
No worries. Don't worry, man.
So yeah. But
all right. Well, hey, how about this? Let's talk about Disney Plus for a minute anyways. We're going to see the Disney Plus did come out with all the various new shows and the new services available for them. They also came out with a bunch of old shows and old movies that maybe haven't aged as well as they could have. Essentially, there are plenty of things in several of these shows that are now considered inappropriate, and so they are adding the additional warning of this video may include outdated cultural depictions on various old movies, like Dumbo, where you have people drinking and I literally slavery building up to
Peter Pan, Jungle Book,
Peter
Lady
Pan,
and the
Jungle
Tramp,
Book.
Yeah.
Just
there's
there's actually
doing, Song of the South is back too, right?
Nope.
Sorry.
You see, you need to change the wording from may have to is a outdated cultural.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Look, I get it. I'm actually happy with this. I think this is a really good decision by Disney. Don't ignore the past, but let people know, hey, you know, this is something you might need to talk to your kids about when they get to the different parts of that show. And, you know, there are parts in a lot of the old Disney shows that, you know, you watch them and you think, that wouldn't fly today. And, you know, I've certainly noticed that on a number of occasions. And then there's some where it super really wouldn't fly today because it was totally inappropriate. But
yeah, totally inappropriate, like in Dumbo, an actual crow named Jim Crow. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, I am glad that they went this route, as because I am against the censorship of
I get
art.
that.
I don't care what it is, even if I don't agree with it. You don't censor art. But there are people that, even though they did this, there are people screaming that they're wrong, that they didn't do enough, that it's too too like vague.
but you're exactly right. You don't censor art. You don't ignore the past. We don't not teach about the Civil War and about slavery because it was not a good thing, right? Like you have to accept the past as it was, and you shouldn't be censoring art and stuff. Now, some things are inappropriate enough that we don't need to bother reading them, but that doesn't mean you have to outlaw them. They are still a relic of the past and something to be aware of the existence of. And to add a comment on there when you go to view it, that's not censorship. That's just letting people know that it's there and to kind of be aware of that. And I think that this is a brave move by Disney to put it on there, to let those things be out there, and to just take a proactive stance and say, hey, you know.
All I have to say is, don't tell me what I should feel. That's all.
No,
Yeah.
I have something very, very. I like this. You know why? Because this is a great example of good wordsmithing. This is some people's, probably lawyers, unfortunately, putting the right words together to get, I know not everybody, but a lot of people to understand and not have a big hissy fit about things. Because if they didn't say anything, there'd be a problem. If they said the wrong thing, there'd be a huge problem.
Right.
This is about right.
So, and this is also that slippery slope too, because you're gonna, you know, if everybody starts doing this, we just watch Blazing Saddles for Movie Party, and while the stereotype and all that was intentional, if you keep going down this path, that's gonna require the disclaimer.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
and
I mean, I think Matt's point is really good here because, and kind of to your point, Clyde, right? They're not telling you how to feel. Mm-hmm. They're just letting you know, hey, remember this is an old movie, basically. And, you know, compare that to like in this article where it talks about what Warner Brothers did, where it goes into detail about all of the things that are wrong and, you know, explains the problems and stuff. You know, I mean, while that may be more detailed and more appropriate, it's not necessarily, you know, I don't know, kind of taking things a little bit farther than you need to.
That was the point I was going for, is even though people are criticizing Disney for not being specific, I'm on their side, because like the Warner Brothers thing is way too specific in the beating you over the head that you must see this and you must realize and you must atone for what you're gonna see. And that just, yeah, I know I've never met a person that went, I just watched an episode of Tom and Jerry and based on their owner Mammy, those people are stupid. It's like it's not how it works. We're advanced people, just like having a conversation with your grandpa when he's yelling about the mailman. You go, okay, grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people understand that. You know, it's a relic of a bygone era, and you know, just leave it alone. That's all I got to say, is just leave it alone. If people don't want to see it, they don't have to watch it. And don't tell me how I have to feel.
That's fair. Hey, did you know that there's this new thing called streaming gaming? It's becoming a big deal now.
Never heard of it.
Google Stadia's got their product, and they just announced it. We're going to have a story on that in a little bit. But Microsoft, in the meantime, has been also been having a preview of their game streaming service. They're currently calling xCloud. It is planning to be launched in 2012, in the past. And it is already been pushed up to 50 games that you can play right now in the preview.
So if it's an xCloud, does that mean it's vaporware?
No, because it's no longer a cloud. It's an xCloud.
But what did it become? It's just a bunch of gas, hot air.
Yeah. Well, it is technically I guess it is technically vaporware, because vaporware is a product that's been announced that hasn't been released yet.
Yes.
So it fits that definition until it is released.
Well, no, I mean, vaporware is a product that has been announced and hasn't even been built yet.
No, there are plenty of vaporwares that were built but just never released.
I mean, demos. They may have had demos, but never a full.
Yep.
And like now, I think xCloud is in a demo model. It's like essentially, I guess you could call it alpha or beta.
The definition is that is either not built or still being built.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
this is still being
vaporware built. Isn't. You're marketing and trying to get people hyped about something that isn't ready and doesn't really exist for use.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess I can understand that argument. Sure.
Yeah.
Way to ruin my pun. Thanks, Michael.
Sorry.
Glad you're back.
All right. Well, really, this isn't going to be an interesting comparison between Stadia and xCloud, and maybe other services as well. Mostly those two, I think. I think it's might be in Microsoft's. Microsoft might be in a better position for this. Just saying. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Google.
I was going to say never mind. I was going to say that remote that I see on the screen looks a lot like the Stadia remote, but I think it is. Yep, it's a Stadia at the bottom. So never mind, they're doing comparison.
One thing I would say though is that while Microsoft stands in a good position because of the fact that they have so many unique games and stuff like that for Xbox. I think Google stands in a very good position for a couple of other reasons. First of all, they know better than anybody else, except for maybe Amazon, how to build good cloud systems that are in distributed computing. Now, Microsoft is no slouch in that area either. Don't get me wrong. Their Azure framework is a solid system, but Google
can be if implemented correctly.
right. Yeah, I mean, but Google is a powerhouse in this area. And second of all, they aren't constrained to or confined to what Microsoft has access to and stuff. So they might potentially be able to get into other areas and other games that are going to be more diverse. So they may actually end up being able to get a better and more interesting catalog.
I like the analogy that they made in here that yes, you'll soon live in a world where you can play Halo with a PlayStation branded gamepad.
That'll make somebody somewhere really
absolutely,
happy.
because I know there are people that love a platform but prefer the other platform's controller.
Yeah.
That goes both ways, but we'll see. I mean, this is in beta, or some people are testing it right now. There's a preview.
You can sign up for the preview. If you get chosen, you can start playing the games for free.
Yeah.
Until the preview is over.
But plans launch for 2020. How much you want to bet they're waiting to see how Stadia goes, and if Stadia blows up like in a bad way, then they could just be like, yeah, we're not going to go forward with this.
I imagine if they're watching what's happening right now with Stadia, which we might as well just say has been launched to mixed reviews, and thinking we can do better than that. I bet you they have a feeling that they have more games. They feel like they've had more experience with gaming, and they think they're better at it. And maybe they are. We don't know. But I bet you, if I were Microsoft, I'd be going, we're going to do better because we're going to have a better selection of games, and we're going to have better gaming experience for people. But remember, Stadia is not just Microsoft's, Google's platform for being a game platform. It's also them trying to sell, hey, Ubisoft, you want to also stream your game over Stadia, and we be the engine. Will you pay us and we be your engine for online streaming for your free? They want to be the middleman as well. So for all those companies out there who want to have their own, hey, how can I get my thing to play on devices, streaming wise, they want to be able to step in and go, we can do that for you, which is cool.
I mean, the thing is, Google Stadia, its struggles aren't related to the game selection, right? Like, I mean,
there's only 12 titles that are announced, and they just, like, right before they released it to the world, pushed out 10 more. And while I think that could be taken as, oh, cool, 10 more games to be hyped for launch, you have 22 titles now, everybody in the news industry basically took that as Google's just desperate, and so they pushed out 10 more games to go out because they don't think it's going to go very well.
No, I think, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, they were planning on doing this in stages,
and they still are.
But I think the second batch of games they hit the metrics they needed to quicker than they thought, that allowed them to say, okay, let's go ahead and roll out that next batch. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what to think about this yet.
I'll have more to talk about in a minute. Hey, let's talk about Google Files. Google Files is a cool little app that really doesn't have anything to do with streaming. I don't know why I put it in here. Oh, wait, look, it's got this cool new feature that allows you to stream to your Chromecast directly from Google Files. No internet required. Just find your video on the file on your phone and stream it. This is pretty cool. It's basically like VLC on your phone. It's the same idea as that, but the Google Files app is actually a really nice interface for doing this if you are a file-oriented kind of person.
The only downside is you have to have a Chromecast.
That's true, but they're not hard to find anymore, and a lot of people have them still. So I think it's cool. I think this is an awesome way for you to just, hey, I got this video, hold on, bink, and shows on the screen. That's just great. We want more of this, people, not less.
Agreed.
Hey, Hulu has been coming around with their various TV services, including Hulu Live, which they introduced several years ago for $40 when it debuted in 2017. It's had a couple price hikes, and it's now getting another one. It is now $55 a month for you to get Hulu Live.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get rid of Hulu Live. Every time I pay the bill each month, I'm like, I'm seriously paying this much a month for the Boise State game? Well, there's really no other good options. So, I mean, yes, I am. But that is all I am getting out of it. And I fully intend the second the bowl game is over to cancel the subscription. I don't understand why people are paying these prices. You're at $55 a month, you're surpassing what you can pay for cable.
When we get to the end of the stories, I may have an option for you. Alternative.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good service in my opinion. The number one complaint I have is that commercials with live or things that you record to your DVR live are enforced. You cannot skip them.
Yeah, that's the way it is on most of the platforms. It depends on the channel, and it's up to the channel whether it's enforced or not. It's like on YouTube TV, Sci-Fi, or AMC, there is absolutely no way you're skipping through those. If it's FX, whatever.
I get that, but my point is that if I had a DVR from my cable company, I would be able to fast forward through those commercials.
Oh boy, those TV companies would love it if they could force you to watch that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a horrible experience, especially when I pay for commercial-free Hulu, and if I'm willing to wait 24 hours to watch it and can get it. Again, the football games don't fit into that category, but things like The Masked Singer, if I watch it live or within 24 hours, I have to sit through the commercials. If I wait 24 hours till it hits Hulu, then I can watch it without commercials. It's just, it's an infuriating setup, and I pay a relatively large amount of money, in my opinion, each month for the meager amount of content that I feel like I get out of it. And it's a total waste. I would much rather just be watching YouTube most of the time.
Yep.
Regular YouTube, I mean, like cool shows like the VOD Squad. And
yeah, I get it. You watch every one of our episodes like every week. I get it. Totally understand.
And that's why he didn't know about the Fire TV surround sound.
That's right. He was too busy watching the back catalog, obviously.
I'm rewatching episodes 1 through 150.
That's right. It's all right. We understand.
Let me just apologize in advance for that.
No, it's interesting because it seems like they're all been ratcheting up the prices. So yeah, I think you're right when you originally said that this was all an introductory price to get everybody into this card cutting game a while ago. And I remember when YouTube TV went up in price, and I was like, oh man, I had this sweetheart deal for $35 a month at one time. And that looks like everybody's gone up to 55 or more.
And also, there's you've got a player that's leaving the market.
Yep.
And then they're in this is the game that all services play, where you don't know exactly what people are willing to pay. There's what they say they're willing to pay, but what are people really willing to pay? And you slowly bring up that price until you lose enough people that you go, okay, there's the threshold, and then bring it right back down just below that to keep people happy. And then, I mean, right now, that's, unknown. What is that magic number?
If they're not careful, they're going to just, everybody's going to quit and nobody's going to come back. Everybody go back to cable.
Go back to cable. And the cable's going to be like, see, told you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't intend to go back to cable, but I do expect that next year I will find an alternate solution to watch Boise State, unless they have brought their prices down significantly.
Fair enough.
All right.
Well, Google Stadia officially out. It's officially out. It is that streaming service where you're going to be able to connect your Google Stadia Chromecast Ultra or one of your PCs and or one of your Pixel phones. I'm sorry, right now that's the only thing you can do is to stream it, and you can use it to stream 22 new awesome games or newish awesome games if you're a founder or one of the premier players, which means you paid $120 up front. And after 3 months, you're going to start paying $10 a month for, this is sounding not so good after all of these various things. Basically, it's out. Everybody has been watching the various, been trying it out to see how well it does for a system. Everybody is saying that it's shockingly works fairly well, although there have been some people who've experienced some really serious about 1 second lag in the game. Which they said was being worked on. But for the most part, everybody says it's pretty playable. This is a stream. This is something that nobody has been able to do to this point this well. And so Google's got something that is working on their hands. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, how it's coming out and how it's being looked at and how Google's poor messaging is being received. I'm going to wager a guess that the various media outlets are going to basically call it a failure. But Google, in the meantime, is in the background, not saying anything, not expecting it to be a super commercial hit, but they want it to end up being a disruptor. Just be a part of the market. They want a piece of that pie. They want when everybody goes out there and does this, they want to be okay. You either pick the option B, or you pick option Google. And so they want 1/3 of the market. If you're talking about billion-dollar markets, they're happy with that. And and also remember, Google Stadia is free, people. This is the thing people forget. Google Stadia should cost you nothing. You pay for the game, and it's your game. Mm-hmm. You play it online for free at 1080p, high definition, 30 frames per second at that setting, I think.
Well, you do have to buy a controller and a Chromecast.
You do not. You can play it on your computer.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
You will be able to use it with many different controllers. Mm-hmm. Right now, let's just call it a beta because that's what it is. Yeah. And people paid $120, $130 to play a beta. I get why some people might be unhappy with that, but it's okay, guys. It's not the end of the world. It actually works. It is questionable in its current form if anybody really needs it.
It's day one.
I know.
And
I get it.
And I know this service is going to be under mega scrutiny. Basically, at this point, anything that I hear from the media, I just almost disregard, just because I do not trust them to be unbiased.
I want to see a comparison. I want two games to be on two different of these platforms, Xbox, xCloud, and Stadia, and I want a direct comparison between the two. I want somebody to compare latency, graphics quality, and playability, everything. I wanted somebody to actually go down and give it a good scientific, hey, we tried two different ones. This is what we found out of both of them. Then I will decide which one I want to use. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it.
I think that's fair. That's a good approach. When I first got access to Stadia, what was it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago or something?
Oh, that's right. You went for that.
It was really good. I liked it. I thought it was great. It did struggle in some of the really super graphics intensive parts, specifically like I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And, I got that free because I did get selected into the beta trial period. And it worked amazing in most settings. Like, graphics were better than what I would be able to get on my desktop. At least that's my theory. Mm-hmm. I didn't ever go buy the game for $60 and do a direct comparison like you're asking. But I couldn't see any deficiencies in the graphics in most settings. What I did see is when you started getting into things like fog and rain and water and the boats and the
things that are hard those are hard to compress. So I get that.
Very hard to compress, very hard to render and then compress and send over. And to do that, and decompress it and all that stuff. Like my computer or their computer or the bandwidth couldn't keep up, and it struggled. So there were definitely points where I couldn't get a decent gameplay, but as a general rule, it was really great. And that was like, I don't remember when it was, but it was months and months ago. So it must have been, I would expect there'd been improvements since then.
Let me just ask, does anybody remember when Netflix would require about 2 to 3 minutes of buffering before it could play a video?
2 or 3 minutes? I don't remember it taking that long, but I remember I remember some buffering to play.
TiVo beta, when they hadn't even gone live with the Netflix. Yeah, I remember. But it was awesome, and everybody said, "Oh, this is terrible. This will never work." Just give it some time. Yeah, I mean, most of the things that I've heard from people so far about Stadia was, I expected this to be a total garbage fire, and that actually works.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect, and I would be remiss to, or I mean, I find it hard to believe that it would be perfect at launch. I mean, how many products out there were perfect at launch? PlayStation View?
It had issues too.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
not perfect.
Basically everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I remember this one console that used to occasionally, after you used it for just a couple of months, get this little red little ring, and it didn't seem to work very well after that.
Never heard of the red ring of death. Never no idea what to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like a $300-400 piece of hardware you bought that just bricked,
Up
right?
to $5, because that was if you get the Pro version.
Yeah. So, I mean, for there to be some visual artifacts or gameplay issues in some intensive scenarios, I think that's a pretty solid accomplishment for a beta stage. Like I said, I want to do a comparison.
And another reason I kind of dismiss when I hear people talking crap about stuff this early is you'll get the people that are on hotel Wi-Fi going, "This is absolute crap. It doesn't work." Well, what do you have, a 56K modem? Yeah, it's not going to be great.
Actually, there was a reviewer that I was watching on it, and the reviewer said, I was at home and with my Wi-Fi, I was getting horrible delays. It was not very good. I went to a hotel and I got better Stadia. I was working better on Stadia. I was like, okay, so you needed, you can have an outdated system, and maybe your hotel's got a more updated system than what you got. Yeah. So the next story is also the same thing. We were basically covered it, which is that the fact that they've got 10 more titles put into the systems, into the Stadia system. So we're going to move along to another gaming news story. Hey, you guys ever heard of Half-Life?
Nope.
No? Okay, it was 2007 when we last heard about Half-Life? So 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And
well, here's the thing: the guy that created Half-Life and did all the writing for Half-Life gave up getting the third one made, and he left the company.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, like 5-6 years ago.
No. Okay. Well, that's funny because Valve, the company who created Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and the episodes after that, have announced that tomorrow morning, they're going to be making a presentation about the newest Half-Life game, Half-Life Alyx, a VR game. That's right. We don't have very much information other than it's an official, what they call a first-party, awesome, excited flagship game for VR, and it's Half-Life, which has been a kind of a gaming thing that basically launched Steam. That's what Half-Life 2 did. And I remember the day I bought Half-Life 2.
Oh, hey, there was a thing that was rock solid from day one. Steam.
No. I remember the day I bought Half-Life 2, and I said, wow, this is a DVD, and I'm glad I had a DVD in my system so I could put it in there to load it, at which point it didn't load anything off of it because there was a giant patch the size of the whole game on the first time I ran it. I felt a little gypped at that time. about why'd I buy this DVD?
Oh yeah, especially when we all had like at best 2 megs down.
Ooh,
Broadband.
Yeah, it's fast. But no, anyways, this is rumored to be a gigantic push forward for VR, perhaps VR's killer app. It'll finally happen. Everybody will want to get VR because they want to play Half-Life Alyx on, we don't know what platforms yet.
Well, we do know because we know it's Steam,
Right.
and it requires Steam VR. So
Is that
so it's Steam. You won't find it on Xbox or anything else.
well? I imagine that's true, but the question is it going to work with Oculus?
No, because that's not Steam VR. You
thought it
can
was.
use it with the Vive.
Right.
Anything, basically any of the VR systems that work with Steam.
Okay.
So I take that back because I don't know. Does Oculus still work with Steam?
It's a good
since
question.
the Facebook acquisition? I assume no. But this is more of a push because they recently, Valve launched their own
Right.
VR headset, the Index,
Yep.
which is like an upgrade to the Vive. If you don't already have one, you're looking at, for the whole setup, about at least $1,000. Yeah, this while I'm super excited for finally getting the third Half-Life, because Valve never does threes. They don't do threes. There is no 3 of anything by Valve.
Okay.
I am super bummed that it's this VR thing because I can't play it. I'm not shelling out $1,000 to play a game that I don't even believe. I believe this is vaporware because everything Half-Life they have announced in the last 12 years has been vaporware.
Yeah, I mean, Half-Life is one of the last. I only actually beat one other video game since Half-Life 2.
What?
Like, actually completed a video game. BioShock Infinite was the last one I did, and then before that, it was Half-Life 2.
You still haven't finished Breath of the Wild? What's wrong with you, man?
I don't finish video games. I don't have time. I get about a week in and I get excited. I come up for air and I can't ever go back. So, I mean, I got like 70% of the way through. What was the one where you could stealth? And that was, I mean, obviously there's a bunch of those, but Dishonored. Yeah.
Oh.
That was supposed to be. And it was amazing, but yeah, just finishing games is not my strong suit. So
Neither is mine.
One of the last ones I did. And I'm super excited about the idea of a Half-Life 3, but I'm with Clyde on this one. I don't have a room that can accommodate a VR setup. And yeah, Clyde doesn't have that excuse. Now,
I'll just put this out there. If the community wants to come together and provide me with the VR, I will gladly use it, and but
and let us know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
absolutely. You'll totally let us know.
But yeah, I'm not shelling out $1,000 just to play this game that I don't really believe.
We will see tomorrow. Right now, where it's all in our imaginations what it could be. Tomorrow, we will actually have a good idea of what might actually be going. Patreon.com/BuyClydeVR. Ooh, thanks, Bad Wave. Appreciate
click
that.
On that. See, where does it take me?
if he set one up that fast, I am impressed.
404. It's a Firefox. It's a Fox in space.
All right. Hey, next story. Amazon has got their music streaming service, which you may or may not be using out there. You know, they've had for a little while. They've have a free version that you've been able to use on your Echo devices for listening to your music with ads. And Amazon, in another "Why Hasn't This Already Been a Thing" episode, has now allowing free music streaming to your Android, your iOS, and your Fire TV. Your Fire TV? Really? You couldn't stream it to your Fire TV? What is wrong with you, Amazon? The other ones I can understand, kind of, because, maybe just not used to the platforms.
The fact that it's going outside of the silo is a big deal.
Yeah, good for them. It's not on Fire TV. What is wrong with you?
Well, so here's the thing. Like, the Fire TV Cube can play Amazon Music streaming.
The regular Fire TV.
All of the Echoes can. The Fire TV Stick probably couldn't. I never tried it. And I have been able to stream Android or Amazon Music on my iPhone, on my Samsung Android phone for forever.
But the free ad-supported one or the paid one?
Well, I have Prime, and I pay for the upgrade. So, the Prime one does work.
Yeah, this is specifically about the free ad-supported music tier. Is no longer confined to the silo.
I missed that. I don't understand why anybody would do that anyways. That's why.
It's okay. Amazon was just leaving loose change around and going, I don't need that money. I don't need to pick it up.
Some people like commercials.
And some people like not paying anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially like Mr. will never subscribe to Amazon Prime.
Who's that?
I'm just kidding. I know you've been watching some Miss Maisel.
Yes, but that's I'm not subscribed. My wife is.
Yeah, semantics.
It's okay.
As long as it's not his bank account, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like as long as somebody else buys the cocaine. But
I'm
not gonna get my hands dirty with that.
All right. Well, Vizio is updating their smart TVs, their SmartCast TVs, and they're getting the ability to play the streaming the new Disney Plus options out there, and they're doing it via the built-in Chromecast. I'm not exactly certain how this is working compared to actually having the app. Do you still need to use the phone, or is this something that allows you to do it without the phone?
So I think what it is so the Vizio SmartCast TVs had a Chromecast built in.
Right.
And Disney didn't so they're running their own OS, and Disney didn't make an app for it.
Right.
So they patched it to allow it to be streamed from your phone where you would have the app.
Gotcha.
That way you can get it into the TV through the Chromecast.
Okay, so those both of you who have a Vizio TV SmartCast TV and wanted to watch Disney Plus via Chromecast, you can now.
Or you could just get a Roku, or
you probably
Fire
already
Stick
have
or
one of those.
Something else, because
they're just lying around.
In a couple months, that UI is going to be so outdated anyway.
It's just I've got I'm using them to hold up bookshelves. I've got them,
I mean, because the Vizio TV I was using today at the shop didn't even have YouTube for a while. It just stopped working, and we went to go check it in the store, and it was gone. Whatever.
Very cool.
Smart TV. Meh.
All right. Well, Amazon Fire TVs is, pretty popular with some people. I don't know why. But they also now offer an Amazon Fire TV Blaster. This is a little box that you can set in your room with your various devices that aren't smart. And with an accompanying Echo, which you can get bundled in with the Blaster, you can have your Amazon Echo device control those various other devices with using infrared. So if your TV is not smart and needs to be turned on using a remote, it can do it. It can control your VCR. It can control your old stereo system. Anything that could take an old infrared remote, this device can be programmed to use, and you can tell that darn A person how to do it.
The only problem I have with this is the name. The Fire TV Blaster.
Are you afraid it's going to damage your TV?
I don't. It's just
in a way, it is shooting beams of light.
No,
out
I understand
of it.
So I understand because it's technically an IR blaster.
Right.
But it just, I don't. It's just that combination of words puts it beyond the ridiculous, even my ridiculous threshold, which is pretty damn high.
But okay, so I've seen other devices that do this, but maybe not as well integrated. So this is good for the Amazon Fire TV enthusiast who does have those older devices. I imagine there are a lot of them, and it looks like it's selling for what is it, $50? For no, $35? Or you can get a one bundled together with an Echo Dot and TV stick for $80.
Like
I
I
don't know.
said, I mean, I think it's a good product, and
For grandma
I
and
can see the
grandpa.
use. I just that name. They need a different name. That's all.
For grandma and grandpa, and they pick up the Fire TV remote, and if you can program it so when you turn on the Fire TV, it also does all the blasting to turn everything else on.
See, my Roku
It's actually not a
remote
bad
just
idea.
already does most of that.
I know, it's got an IR blaster built into it too, doesn't
Exactly.
it?
But
Yeah,
they
me
didn't
too.
have to name it. It's just the remote.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you think grandma when you say, "What are you setting up?" Oh, it's a Fire TV blaster. What are you
Yeah.
what are you hooking up to my TV?
It's going to shoot beams, laser beams. You won't be able to see them because they're invisible
Yeah, the
laser
whole TV and
beams.
everything's gonna end up in the front yard.
All
I
right.
don't know. Okay, good for them.
Hey, Sling TV, you know, the guys who started this whole thing, they're basically trying to make sure they can stream on practically every device out there. And hey, they've been able to put it on TVs and various devices. And, you know, it's basically on everything from Roku to Amazon to I'm sure it's on Xboxes and things like that. And guess what? Now they can put it on your Nest Hub and your Nest Hub Max. That's right. Watch TV
Okay.
on every device. It's going to be on your Apple Watch soon. No, I bet you anything. Anytime now.
Okay. This could fall under the how is this not already a thing, but I mean these products are still relatively new, and you know
That's true.
they're so it's not like they've been around for 5 years just waiting. You know, please develop for us.
Okay. Okay, but because they're trying to get it everywhere, you know how they used to have the question, yeah, but can it play Doom? The new question is, yeah, but can it play? But can it play Sling TV?
There you go.
That's my new thing. I'm going to just start asking that question.
Yeah. So I mean, rock on. If you've got version 11.1 or later. Oh, it's also available on Apple's Safari browser version 11.1 or later.
Oh, nice. Oh,
So
excellent. That's
and
actually a pretty
Oculus
early
Go.
version. Yep, like I said, it's on everywhere. And
Yeah.
Sling TV is being promiscuous with this.
You know what else Sling was doing in the
Uh,
shadows?
What did they do?
They put out another Air TV.
That was that little white device that had that weird remote.
It was
right?
essentially, if you guys remember, a couple years ago, they put out, it was an Android TV box that was actually kind of nice. I really liked the remote, but it was optimized to when you turn it on to auto launch into Sling TV. Which, if you were a Sling TV subscriber, that was pretty awesome because you didn't have to go to your dashboard, load the app, blah, blah, blah. It just took you in there, and then you could, you know, you saw your content and the Sling TV, or your other app content and the Sling TV content in the same feed. And then also they had the thing that set it apart from the other Android TVs is that it had the antenna dongle, so you could bring in your local channels.
Very
Well,
cool.
apparently, I remember we kind of heard that something was going through FCC for approval back earlier in the year, but AirTV 2 is currently for sale on Amazon right now. Nobody's
Very
talking
cool.
about it.
I see it.
Now, the only reason I really wanted to talk about this is because, as if you remember, the original AirTV was an Android TV box. It was the
Right.
hub. Everything worked through it.
Right.
they've abandoned that, and they're kind of going back to their roots, the roots of Sling. The new Air TV 2, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, Mike. This is another one. They're going to a device that it just sits on your network. You connect it to an antenna, and then you can stream the content from this device to any device in your house, whether it be Roku, Fire TV. It does require an external hard drive. So, I mean, we've seen this before, but those products kind of have been disappearing.
Yes, they have.
The thing that's different, though, is it has the original Sling box functionality in it. So, Michael, if you know someone that's in Idaho, you have them set this up on your network, and then you can just watch it on your phone because it's a DVR. It will record the games. It can record up to 2 channels at once. It doesn't require any subscriptions. Yes, it is optimized to work with Sling TV. If you want to subscribe to that, what's nice is that the antenna will put the local channels right into the guide with the content that's coming over the internet. Or if you don't want Sling TV, you just use it with the local antenna, and then you can watch your stuff when you're out on your iOS device or Android device, and it's $100. So basically 2 months of
would almost be great. I mean, it's great conceptually, but unfortunately, exclusive deals on football games and ESPN sucks. Local market doesn't get it unless you got to have ESPN.
There's got to be someplace that gets it over the air, out of market, like, and then you just need to find someone in that market.
Hold on.
See if Matt can get it, he'll just set it up at his house, because I know he wants this.
No, I'm actually thinking about that.
Yep.
I suspect that, or I believe that ESPN just buys exclusive national rights to most of the games, and you're just SOL if you don't have ESPN.
Yeah.
It's a horrible
put the link
thing.
to the product in the chat.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it is a cool product, and it certainly sounds like the kind of thing that I might actually consider when I get done, so that I have some access to like news and local channels and stuff without having to subscribe to everything.
Yep.
Because currently,
like I said, you get to sit down in your living room and choose whichever device. It's agnostic. It just streams across your network. You just have to provide it with some place to store the content.
Yeah.
And if you live in an area that gets good over the air selection,
I need to relook up my area.
But the whole reason I wanted to talk about this though is the fact that nobody's talking about it. I just happened to stumble across it and was like, wait, where did this thing come from? And why is nobody talking about it?
Yeah, it's a good catch.
I'm going to be looking further into this, just so you guys know. So
yeah, I figured this was the kind of thing that would appeal to you, because I know the other products that you've used, and then this will be interesting. So, all right, I think that's it.
All right.
So at this point in the show, we like to take a moment and thank all of you that no, I didn't freeze. No, I wanted to. We like to thank those of you that took it upon yourselves to support us through Patreon over this last year, and continue. We hope that you continue to do so. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You're the whole reason that we do this every week. If you're not currently supporting us and you find some value in this show, we're not asking for much. We're not actually asking for anything, you know.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. But that's patreon.com/the VOD Squad. Is it patreon.com/byclydevr? We'll have to figure out how to make that work now. But no, thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And we should check in with Big Boys Jay real quick. I know he's been having some tech troubles recently, so let's see what he's got.
Welcome to your Red Lake Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of November 18th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Boys Jay. Hey, I just ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon Fresh. I'll let you know. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team BS with BNS is in last place, still waiting for the first film. Team Movie Party gets 5th place with $48.4 million. Team Geek.io gets $8 million from Charlie's Angles and 4th place with $87.8 million. Team Mixtape gets 3rd place with $96.8 million. Team Game Night gets $37 million from Ford vs. Fieri and 2nd place with $190.2 million. And in 1st place with $450.7 million, it's Team VOD Squad. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. For up-to-date listings, follow Stream Team Draft on Twitter.
All I have to say is it begins this weekend. It begins.
That's true. It does.
I'm coming for you.
Your horse will finally enter the race, your real horse, and we'll see what happens. I'm just happy that we are doing so well this time. I'm so happy that we're probably going to hit $500 million. I mean, I can't imagine not hitting that at this point with how much time we have left and the movies we still have coming up.
I'm waiting for everybody to go and ask for a refund for their Joker money. And just watch it going back.
No!
We were sold a bill of goods, and I want my money back. I spent like a month ago.
But we have to talk about what happened this weekend, because we came out with two new movies this weekend, and we talked last week about how we thought Charlie's Angles was going to actually do better than Ford v Ferrari. And I love the fact that we pronounced those incorrectly Fieri, on purpose. Yeah. Yes. No, Charlie's Angles did really poorly. I mean, did not do well. Don't know why.
I don't remember what side I was on, but
you were Charlie's Angels side, okay. But it's all right. No big deal. I was like, I bet that Ford v Ferrari makes $40 million by this week, and I was a little short, but that's not bad. Ford v Ferrari did fairly well. Good job, Game Night.
I gotta say, I mean, I'm surprised by that one, because usually that's one of those ones where, hey, it's got the names, but the subject matter doesn't resonate with most people, so then people don't go see it. So
looking at the various,
how much more do you think it's going to make?
Ford v Ferrari,
yeah,
guaranteed it's going to make at least double what it's currently got. So it's going to end up being around at least around 80, and sometimes
which isn't a bad performer for this time of year. No, I'd say fine. Based on what I'm seeing so far, it could hit 120, but I don't think it would go beyond that.
And looking at the numbers, Geek.io has a couple of stinkers in there, but they still have lots left, which could be, any one of them could be a big hit. I don't know why any of them would be, except for maybe Bad Boys for Life could actually be a hit. I don't know. But Game Night has all their picks have been decent. I mean, even Terminator Dark Fate, which did not have a good opening, has still been making money. So every one of their movies is going to be making them, it looks like, about they'll end up with about $300 million, and they still have Jumanji coming up. So they're good in the running. They definitely have a chance. Mixtape, looking at what they've got. Sorry, Mixtape. I think you're gonna have to do some pretty big numbers to catch up. Movie Party and BS with BNS. You guys have big movies coming. Yours next week with
It
Frozen
opens
2.
in 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
This weekend.
Yeah,
This-
I'm unfortunately contributing to you. I've already got the movie.
What?
No, we did go matinee times, so we would give you less money.
To compensate, did you go to see Joker?
I did not see Joker, but I did see Maleficent.
Okay, that is
I
fair.
I
paid
did.
I'm okay.
I
for
too
Maleficent.
saw Maleficent in
Okay.
a matinee.
Fair.
With,
I'm
two
okay with
kids.
this. I'm
All
totally
right.
okay with this. This is
So-
perfectly fine.
So just about equal. Yeah.
Cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um,
Whatever.
I'm excited for Frozen 2. I think you will do well. I mean, I got to be honest. At this point, my current expectation is that BSWBNS takes the winter by a huge margin. I saw the trailer for The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle when I saw Maleficent, and I want to go see it. It looks really good. I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah.
So I think that he's got one unbelievable blockbuster at the end of the Star Wars saga, and then The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle, which I think is going to do about 80 to 100 million. Though
Everybody's
January
gonna
is a
binge
hard
The
time of the
Mandalorian
year.
and then be like, I'm done.
We'll
for
see.
now.
Star Wars will make lots of money. It'll probably make more than Frozen 2. The question is, will it make $500 million in a couple of weeks? And basically, it's possible. It's not impossible. So
Yeah, I'm
It'll be $500
putting
million
on my skepticals
before the
where
end.
my glasses go. I need fake glasses, and they give me my skepticals.
nice.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm
That's okay. 21 Bridges is not going to do well, but Cats is going to bring us $100 million. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. We're in a good position. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to get much more
We're
out of
fine.
any of the movies we've had,
Right.
but I think Cats is going to probably give us about 50 million. So
Yeah, that's what I
right,
actually expect.
I think we'll hit over $500 million, and that'll put us in a good position. I think that gives us a solid chance at second. Though Frozen 2 is still a wild card because that could do 400 million by itself.
Exactly.
because it starts the week before Thanksgiving and is gonna go all the way through Christmas.
Yep.
So
So looking
And I
at
think that there will be
I'm
kids
looking long term on that one.
dragging their parents back multiple times for that. So
I'm surprised though that it's coming out the weekend before Thanksgiving because the last Frozen launched Thanksgiving weekend.
well, that's because this is the latest possible weekend, like day that Thanksgiving can be in the month, right? So
Yeah.
they didn't normally. It's the week of Thanksgiving, right? But it's in the mid 20s, not like the 28th. So
So
I think that's why.
So here's the problem, Clyde. Frozen made $400 million domestically last time, and sequels almost always make less. Now the question is it going to make $300 million? Probably.
It'll make $3.99. 99.999.
Then you're fine. You're fine.
Alrighty. Well, actually, this is the year that we could probably throw that stuff out because, R-rated superhero movies in the fall never make more than like 200 million.
Yeah, whatever.
Alrighty. Well, why don't we quickly do some rants and some rapes? And
Sure.
All right. Anything you guys got burning?
Real
Desires.
quick, I've just been as usual been very busy. My wife has been basically taken over the TV and watching various Disney shows, which is good. That's fine. It's got nothing wrong with that. Interestingly enough, I haven't started The Mandalorian because I'm waiting to start watching it with her, and she hasn't wanted to watch it yet. I hear it's good. We'll see what happens. I might like to let it sit there for a little bit. We'll see. But I have been playing a game where Epic releases a free game or two every week from their Epic Game Store, and recently they released a game called The Messenger. The Messenger feels like a really old video game, and by that I mean like you're a ninja, you're running, you're jumping, you're slicing things, but it's got a lot of humor in it and a couple twists in it. I'm only about halfway through as far as I can tell, and I'm pretty certain that's where I am. And it's been a lot of fun, so I can't recommend it enough. I don't know if it's still the free game right now on Epic Game Store.
Yeah,
if you got a controller and you want to try it out, it's been a lot of fun. So, and let me just see, the current game is The Messenger. Go ahead and try it, guys. It's very, very good.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of revisiting my Red Dead Redemption that I fell off last winter.
Red Dead 1 or Red Dead 2?
2. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Looks good. Looks like Ninja Gaiden or something like that. That's pretty sweet.
It is very much Ninja Gaiden. In fact, there's a joke about that almost immediately. They're very aware. They're very aware of what they're doing. So it's free. It's fun. Get a controller, plug it in, play it. You will be having a blast.
All right. I'll have to check that out.
That reminds me of, and maybe one of you guys knows or someone out in the audience knows, there was it was a grassroots, like home brew kind of thing where they took the boss from one of the games. It was either Double Dragon or Bad Dudes, one of those games. And they made a sequel game that was from his point of view, from the boss's point of view. And I have not been able to remember what it was called because I started playing it a long time ago. It was a lot of fun. And then I can't remember what it was. But
don't think it was Bad Dudes. Let's see if it was Double Dragon.
But it was one of those side scroller, two guys, like two buddies beating up people around town kind of games.
Spoiler alert for Double Dragon. The final boss of that game, if you didn't know, was you had to beat up the other player.
Okay. So it wasn't that one. Yeah, I want to say it was Bad Dudes or one of the other games. Streets of Fury.
I don't know.
Is it past the 3-decade moratorium for spoilers?
I hope so. Because that game, just think of that jerk move you have happen there. You play this game with your friend, you're doing real good, you're jump kicking things, you're punching things, you're kicking things, you get all the way, you get to the end, and like, okay, now you're gonna save the girl, and then at the end, like, now you two have to fight each other. What? It's mean.
I thought it was great, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. But by that time, you've pretty much beaten up and killed so many people that by that time, nothing makes sense anymore. It's all
yeah. So, unlike Matt, I'm not going to spoil some like decades old product.
What?
I'm going to spoil something that came out last week.
Oh, no.
Mandalorian. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to spoil it. But I will say I watched it. I absolutely loved it. Was super excited that I got to have 2 episodes because it comes out on Friday. And so the original episode came out on Tuesday with the service when it started. And then the episode started releasing on schedule. So you get 2 episodes last week. Super, super loved both episodes. And I'm really excited about the next one. This show is extremely good. It is it kind of really pays it back to the original series. It's kind of kind of reminiscent a little bit of Firefly as well, kind of a space western and good old space fantasy, and it's good stuff. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Very cool.
That because I can't say much more without starting to spoil things. So
All right.
watch it. If you don't already have Disney Plus, buy it to watch it.
Yeah.
Get your free 7-day trial and watch it.
I still don't have Disney Plus because I still don't know anything I want to watch on there.
Yeah, that's okay. We all know you're broken, Clyde.
I know. But now I am both broken and broke. So I have two
poor
reasons
Clyde.
not to subscribe.
Poor Clyde.
Yeah.
We're sorry, Clyde.
That's okay. I'm enjoying not leaving my house. It's awesome.
Rice and beans for dinner again?
Oh, I've got a freezer full of food.
Okay, just making sure.
But, all right. Hey, we'll just, at this point, we'll take that and probably shut this down. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. If you're watching it on YouTube, that is because of Wabbit Magic and his magic YouTube manipulation. You're awesome, dude. Thank you for getting those over there every week or getting those ready to be possibly seen by people on YouTube. But if you join us live, if you haven't joined us live, you should. That's when you get to participate in chat. You get to submit titles, which we are going to vote on now in the post show. So head on over to tvs.showbot.tv and pick your favorite titles. The number one will go down in perpetuity as this episode.
Yeah.
Some of those
All right.
kind of wish that wasn't actually how it worked, but I don't make the rules.
No.
Well, wait,
no.
I do, but
You always say, yeah,
Still.
I was about to say, then who does if you don't?
all right. Hey, stick around for the post show. Otherwise, we are shutting this down. Bye,
Later.
guys. We will see
Bye.
you next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.